In the vast and serene Bandipur Reserve in India, a sanctuary known for its rich biodiversity and home to majestic Asian elephants, the day began with the usual tranquility. Among the animals that caught the attention of visitors was Lakshmi, an elephant known for her intelligence and calm demeanor. Lakshmi was one of the prides of the reserve, often seen wandering peacefully among the trees, her large shadow casting over the sandy ground. In recent days, however, Lakshmi had begun to exhibit unusual behavior. Daily, at specific times, she would go to a particular spot near the river and start rhythmically and insistently pounding the ground with her trunk. Visitors, initially enchanted, began to be intrigued by this strange routine. The peculiar behavior did not go unnoticed by the reserve staff. Murmurs and speculations spread among tour guides and curious visitors. What is she trying to tell us? Some wondered. Others supposed it could be a new foraging behavior, or even a mating ritual. Biologist Priya, a young woman dedicated and passionate about her work, watched the elephant with a mix of fascination and concern. Priya had been working at the reserve for 5 years and had developed a special bond with many of the animals, especially Lakshmi. She believed that every animal behavior had a meaning, and that understanding these signs was crucial for conservation. Determined to uncover the cause of Lakshmi's behavior, Priya decided to investigate further. She began to accompany the elephant on her daily walks, closely observing every movement and noting details in her field notebook. During these observations, Priya noticed that Lakshmi was not only pounding the ground with her trunk, but also seemed to be mapping the soil, as if trying to locate something specific. Priya's decision to investigate more deeply marked the starting point for a series of events that would transform not only her life, but also the safety and future of the reserve. During her investigations, Priya spent hours beside Lakshmi, observing every detail of her behavior. Her internal dialogues revealed the tension between her scientific curiosity and the emotional empathy she felt for the elephant. "What are you trying to tell me, Lakshmi?" she repeatedly asked herself. As the days passed, Priya began to realize that Lakshmi was not just acting on instinct, but seemed to be trying to communicate something urgent. The interactions between Priya and Lakshmi became more frequent and intense. Priya started talking to the elephant out loud, a common practice among animal caregivers to create a stronger bond. "I am here to help, Lakshmi. We will figure this out together," she said softly, while watching the elephant pound the ground with her trunk again. Lakshmi responded with a deep look, full of almost human wisdom, as if understanding every word Priya said. Raju, an experienced forest ranger, was skeptical of Priya's investigation. "Elephants are complex creatures, Priya. Sometimes they just have strange behaviors," he said, trying to dissuade her from continuing her research. However, Priya was determined and respectfully rejected the idea that Lakshmi's behavior was just a meaningless peculiarity. On the other hand, Anjali, the reserve's veterinarian, supported Priya. "If Lakshmi is trying to tell us something, we need to find out what it is. She may be alerting us to a real danger," Anjali said, providing information about Lakshmi's health and well-being that could be crucial to the investigation. Anjali and Priya worked together to analyze soil samples from the area where Lakshmi insisted on pounding with her trunk. The dynamic between Priya and the reserve visitors was also explored. Many visitors, initially just curious, began to be interested in Lakshmi's story and Priya's investigation. Some even offered help as volunteers and donors, increasing the pressure for Priya to find an answer. Through her meticulous observations and detailed analyses, Priya discovered that Lakshmi always pounded her trunk on the same specific spot on the ground. This sparked her scientific curiosity and her concern for the reserve's safety. Priya faced resistance both from her colleagues and local authorities. Raju, the forest ranger, remained skeptical and considered that Priya was wasting precious time. "We have other priorities in the reserve, Priya. We can't afford to chase ghosts," he argued, emphasizing the need to focus on more tangible problems. The reserve was also under financial pressure, and the administrator, Mr. Mehta, was worried about the impact that a prolonged investigation could have on the reserve's finances and reputation. "If visitors start to think our reserve is dangerous, we will lose donations and support," warned Mr. Mehta. Determined to prove her suspicions valid, Priya decided to dig at the spot where Lakshmi insisted on pounding with her trunk. With the help of Anjali and some volunteers, Priya began to dig, hoping to find a logical explanation for Lakshmi's behavior. After hours of careful excavation, they found corroded metal remains buried in the ground. Priya, with her biology background and general knowledge, quickly identified the object as an old landmine, probably a remnant of a past regional conflict. The news of the found mine quickly spread throughout the reserve and beyond, causing alarm among visitors and the local community. The reserve became a focus of media attention, and the pressure on Priya and her team increased exponentially. The situation became even more complicated when Priya requested the intervention of authorities to defuse the mine. Initially, local authorities were slow to respond, underestimating the severity of the situation. "We have other emergencies to deal with. An old mine is not a priority now," said a local official, trying to calm the situation. Priya, however, knew that time was crucial. She decided to take extreme measures and contacted a mine disarmament expert through a friend who worked at an international NGO. The expert, who was thousands of miles away, agreed to guide Priya and her team remotely to disarm the mine, using a series of detailed instructions and an old manual. During the operation, moments of extreme tension occurred. The team faced technical difficulties and the constant danger of an accidental explosion. Lakshmi, curious and restless, stayed near the site, as if sensing her presence was essential. The most dramatic twist came when, in the middle of the process, an unexpected storm hit the reserve, making the operation even more difficult. Priya and her team were forced to improvise, using all available resources to protect the area and continue defusing the mine. Finally, after hours of effort and frayed nerves, Priya successfully defused the mine. The tension was replaced by immense relief, both for the team and for the anxious observers. The operation, which initially seemed impossible, was completed thanks to Priya's determination and Lakshmi's intelligence. The discovery and disarmament of the mine had a profound impact on the reserve. Priya was praised for her courage and persistence, while Lakshmi became a symbol of animal intelligence and sensitivity.